Hi all, welcome to the new session of Azure Data Factory. This is session 4, and before this session we were in copy activity general pane. So in the first session of copy activity general pane we covered top 6 options, and in this section we are going to cover the last two remaining options, that is secure output and secure input. Now in order to explain this I would do a small setup, and then once the setup is ready then we will perform the pipeline execution, and based on the output you will be able to understand what the secure output and secure input is all about. So without wasting any further time, let me go to the portal. Okay, now I'm going to go into my data factory resource group, and I'm going to open my data factory in a new instance, and similarly I'm going to open our data lake in our new browser tab. So let them open. Fine. So let me go to the data factory studio, and simultaneously let me just open the storage browser and go to blob containers and go to data. Fine. Cool. So let me just expand this. Okay, they are better now. Fine. In the last session, we were working on PL copy customer data pipeline, and we had a single copy data activity. Now, the top 6 options that we saw in the last session were name, description, activity state, timeout, retry, and retry interval. So, in order to start fresh, let me just put it back into the default state. So let me do retry 0 and retry interval 30 seconds. Okay, now for time being, let's keep secure output and secure input as it is, and let me publish the changes. And while we are publishing, let me go back to my customer sync directory, and let me delete this file because we are going to run this pipeline one more time. So we want to copy the file customer.csv again into the same location. So I have deleted it. Customer.source still have this particular file. So now our setup is ready. So secure output and secure input, if you just click on the information, you will get messages like when checked, output from the activity will not be captured in logging. And similarly for secure input, when checked, input from the activity will not be captured in logging. What does this mean? So whenever you run a pipeline in Azure Data Factory, you are actually creating logs. And in like all the companies, whenever you are provisioning any service on Azure cloud, you will try to maintain the log at least for some time, let's say for 3 months, 6 months, in order to make sure that you have an audit, like who accessed, what kind of activity was done. So similarly in Azure Data Factory you can set up logging. So in order to set up logging, you have to go into your Azure Data Factory, and you have to click on diagnostic settings. So here you have to add the diagnostic settings, and if you see, all these kind of logs you can accumulate. So the diagnostic settings allows you to capture all these logs. So I'm clicking all the logs and all kind of metrics into these 4 options. So you can either send it to log analytics workspace, you can either you can archive the logs into a storage account, you can stream those logs to event hub, and then last one is you can send them to a partner solution. Now we are going to use log analytics workspace for this demo. So we are again going into our home tab, going into resource group, log analytics resource group. Let me quickly spin up a log analytics workspace. So you have to search log analytics workspace. You click on create, Let me give, okay, let me create it. So Log Analytics Workspace is a service provided in Azure Cloud to analyze your logs at a central location. So not only logs from the data factory can be stored here, from any other service, wherever you will set the logging, and if you point the logs to this analytics workspace, all the data will come to this particular workspace, and here you can fire queries in KQL, custom query language. More on this later, but for now just keep in mind that we are going to use this service in order to understand what secure input and secure output is all about. Okay, so our deployment is complete, which will go to the resource. Fine, everything is looking good. Now we are going to go into diagnostic settings. Let me just go back. Fine, so here I'm going to click on add diagnostic settings. Let me just give the same name. Okay, and you click on send to log analytics. For now, let's keep it simple. Click on all logs and click on all metrics. So you are going to capture all kinds of log and all kinds of metrics into the log analytics workspace. Here you have destination table option. Keep it resource specific. If you keep Azure Diagnostic, all the log will go into one table known as Azure Diagnostic. If you keep that checked, if you keep that unchecked and select resource specific, in this case there will be multiple tables, each who will hold one kind of log. So I'm keeping resource specific. Rest all the options that are down, just keep them unchecked and click on save. Okay, so it is saved. Let me go back. As you can see, your log analytics is now set up for the data factory. Just to verify one more time, we have set up diagnostic settings to capture the log into our log analytics workspace. Now we are going to run our pipeline. So as you have seen, we are not modifying anything. We are just restoring our data factory to default setting. So we set timeout as 10 minutes. We reset retry to 0. We checked and retry interval second was 30. Now for now, we are going to keep secure output and secure input as unchecked. Fine. Let me just trigger the pipeline. Okay, as you can see, pipeline run succeeded. Now you have to go to the Azure Data Factory, not the studio, Azure Data Factory, and then you have to go down and click on logs. So as of now, as you can see, there is no logs available. You just keep group by to resource type. It may take a while, like from 5 minutes to 10 minutes to display this, display the tables in this section. So you have to be patient and just wait till the logs arrive in the log analytics, and after that I will continue. So I'm pausing this video. Once the log tables are ready, I will restart. So after 10-15 minutes, we are back, and let me go to the logs. So after setting the diagnostics, we have to click on the logs, remove this and expand this. So if you see, but earlier we were not having any categories. Right now we have one category as data factories, and this we have two runs, ADF activity run and ADF pipeline run. Now we have to simply double click on ADF activity run, and it is going to come in our query pane. If you run it, you will see the data related to the activity execution. So if you see, there are 6 rows and there are two sets. So one set is of copy customer data queued in progress succeeded, and then there is another set. Both are same, but the sets that I am looking at are from two different pipeline runs. So now if I click on one more query, and if I click on activity ADF pipeline run, and if I run that, you will see there are multiple rows, and again there are two sets. So the pipeline is having one activity, and there were two pipeline runs, and that is why there are two sets of pipeline rows and there are two sets of activity rows. Now if you just click on the succeeded part and you expand, if you go down, you will see a property name input and output. Okay, so here you can see all the details related to source and sink. So you can see what was the source, how many files were there, what the data size was, everything. Okay, this is coming in the logs. Now if you don't want to see all these details, just because you are dealing with sensitive data and you don't want the person who is looking at logs to know what this pipeline was doing, like what kind of data it was copying, what kind of data it was dealing with, so you enable the secure output and secure input. So let me just enable these two and publish. Successfully completed. Now let me run the pipeline one more time. And remember, logs may take a while to get reflected in your log analytics. So you have to wait for like 5-10 minutes. So I am going to pause the video once the pipeline run is successful. Okay, now the pipeline is successful. So let me go back and run the ADF activity. Let's see whether it has arrived or not. Okay, so as you can see, there are only 6 rows with three sets of two sets of rows succeeded in progress and queued. So you have to wait. So I'm pausing the video for a few minutes, and once the data is arrived in logs, we will take a look at what the new log is showing. Okay, so now if you see in the ADF activity run, there are total 9 rows. That means now we have the latest data for the pipeline that we executed. And similarly, if you just click on the ADF pipeline run, currently you see 6 records. Now if you click, you will see total 9 records. So that means there were 3 pipeline runs, and correspondingly, since corresponding activities show 9 rows, because the pipeline had only one activity, and like pipeline had 3 stages: queued, in progress, and succeeded. The corresponding activity was also in 3 states: queued, in progress, and succeeded. Now in the succeeded, the latest one, if you go and check, scroll down, and if you see input and output, so it is a secure input and it is a secure output. So you will not see the data that was passed to the copy activity and the output of that copy activity if you enable the secure input and secure output. So let me just go back to my pipeline. So now the secure input and secure output is enabled, so you just see that it is a secure input and output. You will not see any detail. Whereas if you just go to this second last succeed status, that means this one, you expand it, and you can see every detail of input and output operation. So with this, we have covered every option in the general section of the copy activity. So I think we are good with this one. Let's meet in the next session. Thank you so much.